Good morning. Happy Saturday. It's raining here in Texas, but that's okay. It's a 3-day Memorial weekend, so we have Monday off, even though we've kind of been having every day off since we've been in quarantine. But for those of you who are still having to go to work and get Memorial Day off, happy 3-day weekend to you. Today's card, I am featuring a retiring card stamp set called Love What You Do. I'm really sad this one's going away. This is a great stamp set, especially if you need a watercolor wash. They have a couple of them, a little one here and a smaller one even right there. Watercolor washes are great. Let me pull that in for you. So that you don't have to spend so much time doing detail coloring, okay? I'm going to show you that in today's card. Remember, this is a card a day in the month of May. We only have a few days left in May, a week left, so I'm really thankful for those of you who are here with me. Let me look up my comments. I forgot to turn that on. And there we go. And of course, good morning, Kim. I'm so glad you're here today. You're here every day. It just makes me so happy. And with that, let's go on and get started then. And switch that over. All right, so we have Love What You Do. It's a beautiful day, which today can be beautiful if you like rain. I'm lucky to have a friend like you. That is a great stamp sentiment. That's just an awesome sentiment. Thank you and love what you do. So some pretty flowers and watercolor washes. Great stamp set. It also comes, or it doesn't come with, but it also has a coordinating embossing folder. This is also retiring. Excuse me, I have a tickle in my throat this morning. All right, anyway, so it's just it's a bouquet of flowers that would emboss, and we're going to use that today. So I'm real excited. One more thing we're using today that's retiring, and that is the lovely lipstick. This is such an awesome red. It's a pinkish red, and it's awesome. I really like this red. I'm sad it's going to, but you know, we have to just deal with things that retire and embrace the new things that are coming because we have a new catalog coming. Kim, did you get a new catalog? Did I send you one? I sent so many out I can't even remember because I want to make sure you get a new catalog, because it starts in June. All right, let's start this card. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to emboss it. And so this folder, let me put it right there. Wait a minute. No, it goes that way. There we go. Yeah. Okay, and let me throw this through the embossing machine here. Oh, it all moved. Sometimes when you're setting up the sandwich, everything moves around. You don't want that if you can help it. There we go. Sometimes it takes tape, but we're just going to do the best we can there. All right. Okay, so I just threw that. If you're not familiar with embossing folders, there's a machine called a Big Shot or die cutting machine, and you have a platform, then you put the paper inside your embossing folder, and then you put another platform on top, make a sandwich, and run it through the machine, and I will show you what it does. There we go. So it just embossed that flower on the cardstock like that. Isn't that cool? Oh, good. I'm glad you got your catalog. Okay. And good morning, Colleen. And hello, Miss Cindy. How are you? You're about to do your Facebook Live, too. I know you always do it on Saturdays. All right, so I look forward to that, Cindy. And those of you who are watching mine, you can switch over to Cindy's. She's also a demonstrator. She does great Facebook Lives also. All right, here we go. So we have that embossed, and it is going to be a landscape style card. We are using a card sketch right here out of my little ebook that I have, so card sketch number 2. However, we're going to change this up a bit. We are going to turn it sideways, okay, and then we're going to move this paper over a little bit to help have more embossing. We can show off that embossed flower more there. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'll just hit that to the side here. Let's see, I'm going to make room for it. There's hardly any room in my camera here, so there we go. That'll work. Actually, let's put it on the other side where my face is. That way we have more room for decorating. There we go. Okay. Oh, way too much stuff on my desk. We're still kind of having some issues here. Well, boom, we found it. Okay, there it is. Cindy, oh girl, I'll be at the lake. Thanks for shout out though. Oh, okay, so no Facebook Live for Cindy today, but y'all put it on your calendar. Every Saturday morning she does it. And here we go. We have our embossed card here. And like I said, we're just turning this around. I just can't seem to turn it so it stays in the camera. We need some designer paper. You see the designer paper up here? It can, well, the thing about card sketches is they're just kind of like a little guide. They don't have to be exactly like this. So this light back here, I'm choosing to put in some light cardstock, and I cut it at 2 1/4. And the reason I did that is because of the design element called the element of thirds. And so if you cut this card into 3 equal sections, 2 1/4 isn't exactly a third, but it gives me extra room to show off the embossed flower here, but it also makes the design look balanced. That's the word I'm looking for, balanced. So now one more thing, when you have raised edges, you want to use glue, not tape, because tape doesn't seem to do well on raised surfaces. So just a little bit of glue, because I am using designer paper. You want to be real careful when you're using liquid glue and designer paper. If it's really thin paper, the paper will warp, and you don't want that. So a very, very thin amount. When I mean thin, I mean hardly anything on there. And we just move that over here to the side. And there we go. All right, so we have our designer paper on there. All right, isn't that looking pretty? Oh, gosh, I love this pink red. It's called Lovely Lipstick. The next thing is, in the card sketch, it has the image up here, but the stamp set I'm using needs more room. So, no problems. Instead of putting it up here, because it doesn't fit, I said, well, I'll just move it over a little. But I don't want to move it over too much, so we're going to do it again. We're going to cut this rectangle in thirds, like in our head, and we're going to just let a third of it hang over the edge there, okay? And then we have that, so we still can see the designer paper, okay? And we've got that there. Now, you can hardly see that, but that's okay, because we're putting a white piece up here with the stamping. So let's get our stamping done. Here's our scrap paper here. Whoops, I've got a little mark there. Okay, there we go, that's clean. The first thing I have is my sentiment, and I'm using I'm Lucky to Have You as a Friend. And I want to stay with the colors of my designer paper. So if I lift that up to you, you see the mint macaron right there. I'm going to use that for my sentiment, and then I'm going to keep with the Lovely Lipstick for the flowers. All right, so where's my mint macaron? Here it is. Or macaron, or I don't know how you pronounce that word. Does anybody? M-A-C, here, I'll pull it up there. See, M-A-C-A-R-O-N. Macaron. Macaron. I always think of those little cookies, but I don't know if that's what that really is. Those little cake cookies. Okay, and here we go. Perfect. And close this up. And the next thing we have, all right, I was telling you about the watercolor wash. So in the stamp set, these images here, these are for coloring your flowers or coloring the background without having to actually get out your watercolors. Pretty cool, huh? We're going to put this flower right here. It's going to kind of come off the edge a little bit, but that's okay. But I don't want it to be black outlined. That's just so harsh. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you how to do this. If you have, now that it takes watercolor markers, do not use your blends. Do not use alcohol-based markers on this because it'll just mess it up. So, and it won't stamp correctly. The water-based markers, what we call Stampin' Up, Stampin' Right, this is the same ink that's in the ink pad. And I'm just going to use the paintbrush side, and I'm just going to put some ink on this flower. Whoops, there we go. And this one up here. Okay, and this one here. And I'm trying to stay away from the stem because I'm going to color the stem. Now our designer paper has Old Olive, so we're going to use Old Olive. I didn't want to use mint macaron for the stems. That's give us a little variety when we use the Old Olive. So here we go with the Old Olive, and we just color where the stems are. Okay. And now, if the original flower may have started to dry already, that's okay because it's water-based and your breath has water, so puts a little breath on there, come over here, and here we go. Awesome, huh? All right, so now we have the dark outline. What we're going to do now is we're going to fill, whoops, come here. We're going to fill these flowers with the watercolor wash, but I don't want a real dark red. If I just stamp with what I call complete saturated ink, it would be too dark and you wouldn't see the outline of the flower. So, I need some scrap paper. Here we go, here's some scrap paper. Get all this in the image so you can see what I'm doing here. So we'll put our flower up here. Can you still see it? Oh yeah. We've got the scrap paper here. We've got our watercolor wash here. We ink it up real good. Then we stamp off and then come and color in the flower. Now, it's much bigger than the flower, but that's okay. It's, you know, kind of an abstract look, and that's all right. And there we go, our flowers are colored. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this one out with the next size rectangle. So these rectangles, these scalloped rectangles, come from the die cut set Stitched So Sweetly, and they are in the new catalog, so keep those. And like I said, I'm just going to use that, and we're going to cut off some of the flower there, but that's okay. It's going to look fine. Come over here to my die cutting machine, and excuse me. All right. Now, if you don't have a die cutting machine, you can use punches. If you don't have punches, you can just hand cut it out with a paper trimmer, and it would look just fine. All right, and my other plate. But the fun thing about crafting is owning all of the stuff. Owning all of the stuff. So we've cut it out now, and we are going to just adhere that to that. All right, and I'm just going to use a little tape runner there to attach that. There we go. And where did my card base go? Here we go. Dun da da dun. Now when we put that on there, it's all done. Okay, but of course we need dimensionals. It's not a real card if you don't pop something up. So let me flip that over. And of course, if you want to jazz this up a little more, you could put some ribbon in here. You could put some bling on there. But I like to try to keep the cards as simple as possible so that people aren't overwhelmed with all the stuff I try to teach at once. Alrighty. Now, one more thing. Miss Dorothy always duplicates the card and then posts it underneath. So I want to challenge all of you guys to do that. If you've got a stamp set, embossing folder that you can duplicate this card sketch here, I would love to see it. Go out and get crafty this afternoon and show us your cards, okay? Also, if you love card tutorials, don't forget to sign up for my newsletter every week. I do give out a free card tutorial that is exclusive. Let me switch over to my face here. That is exclusive to my newsletter subscribers. Also, you don't want to miss, last night I sat up and I decided on the card class by mail for the month of June. So I'm going to start advertising that and getting that out to you guys. So you're not going to want to miss that. So sign up for the newsletter if you have not done so already. Colleen's this beautiful card. Thank you so much. Oh, and Francine says zoom out a bit. Yeah, well, I can't zoom out while I'm recording. That's my problem. I need to be careful with that. Good morning, Francine. How are you doing? I can't believe you're up so early on a Saturday. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for watching me this morning. And for those of you who are watching the replay, just let me know that you're here. Give me some comments, and I would love to recognize you and talk back with you. I love the conversations that we have here on the Facebook Live. All right, here is the card one more time. Whoops, it's tilted. And it's tilted. There we go. Bye, you guys.